This is the Scarf Bergara War, a Stockport County fan-created podcast, blog, YouTube live show and website. Find us at thescarfbergarawar.co.uk. For county fans, by county fans.
Hello and welcome to the show that's sometimes insightful, sometimes unsettling, but always present. Yes, it's a predetermined time on a Wednesday night, which can only mean one thing. It's the Scarf Bergara War. I'm your unsettling presence for the evening, Nick Lee. Now, with every unsettling presence, you need someone normal, a bit of an antidote. I'm thrilled to say we've got just the thing. £200 for a hotel next to a stinking waterworks. I'll sleep in the car, thank you. Dad, get over yourself. It's just Monopoly. It's yesterday's game. It's all about Mega Drives and that now. It's the Scarf Bergara Wars. Russ Johnson of the Scarf Bergara War.
Howdy, mate. You all right?
Yeah, you're good, mate. Did you like my little up-to-date reference there?
Yeah, it's good. That it was about as up-to-date as I like anyway, so...
Yeah. Well, it's the 90s, though, isn't it? That's the best time for nostalgia. Everything in my life has stayed the same since the 90s. Like music taste, clothes, mental age.
Same, yeah.
What have we got coming up tonight, then, mate? It's a jam-packed show, isn't it?
It's a jam-packed show, yeah. We've got James Jarvis from a Bolton Wanderers podcast joining us start the show for about 10-15 minutes talking about Sunday's match from the Lion of Vienna Suite podcast. So we'll get him in a second. And we're delighted to be joined by Sam Byrne, journalist extraordinaire of County, who's going to come and give us all the inside scoops on everything Stockport County. So shall we get them out? To coin a phrase.
Let's whack them out on the table and have a good old look.
Whack them out. Here we go. There we go. Hiya, James. Hiya, Sam. How are you doing?
Hi, boys. You okay?
Hi, you all right, lads? How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. So, Sam, you're going to stay for the duration, and obviously you can tell by your T-shirt you're a big Stockport County fan from the 90s as well, that suits us fine. Let's kick off with something that's happening on Sunday, which I don't think many people are going to. Well, probably not from Bolton anyway. James, the game on Sunday, our FA Cup match. I suppose the first thing to talk about is. Are you aware of how many we're bringing, and is that a factor for you? We'll get on to Sarcevic and all that sort of stuff in a minute.
Yeah, no, I'm very impressed that you've filled out the 5,000 capacity more than Wigan brought. Although to be fair, we limited that for police reasons. But no, I'm very impressed. I just hope the Bolton fans turn up in force, just so we aren't outnumbered by the away fans.
Yeah, well, I've seen that online. There's not many tickets sold, and is that because you have to go through some sort of new registration scheme now? That's what I've.
Yeah. There's a new membership scheme that's been set up, presumably to avoid, you know, the kind of people who can be troublesome that like to pay on the day and stuff like that. I assume it's to try and weed out those kind of people, especially after some of them caused quite a scuffle at the Wigan match, but. Yeah, I can't say I know all the details about it, but I know some people have not been happy with the way it's been run so far. Yeah, I didn't really have any problems, but that's my personal story. I can't speak for the other fans.
Right, and is that something that's rife at Bolton then at home? Is it what people paying on the day and then causing a bit of aggro? I mean, there's lots of places pay on the day, don't they?
Yeah, I know, and I know. But I also know we're not the first club around to try this sort of membership scheme to try and stop these kind of problems. I honestly don't know the ins and outs because I don't really associate with those kind of fans. If anything, I actively try to avoid them or tell them to piss off if they come within my vicinity. But yeah, I just assume that's why it was brought in, and especially to avoid any further fines down the road or any just further trouble in general. As we've seen at both Wigan games we've attended this season.
Fair enough. I've been listening to your podcast recently, and looked at some of your results as well. Apart from maybe last night, which you got a good win, didn't you? 3-0 away at Rochdale. You've not been doing too well recently, have you?
No, October has been a torrid month. We've had a few players dropping like flies. Performances have been quite frankly abysmal, especially in the Wigan and Plymouth games. October's been terrible. We're just hoping that we've got these hard games out the way. Hopefully this win again, even though it's a League Two side, hopefully this win will do us a world of good, build up our confidence, and allow us to carry on closer to how we were playing in August, September, where we still had some losses here and there, but majoritively the performances were really good. And in some cases, we just blew teams away, like Ipswich and Charlton.
So are you looking at Sunday as pretty much building on the win against Rochdale to sort of kickstart into the games after playing a National League team?
Yeah, that's the hope. Because we feel, contrary to what we've done in the other two EFL Trophy games, we fielded a team of mainly first-team players. I assume Everett did that to give them a huge burst in confidence after results from performances not gone our way. And while I don't think we'll see a similar team against Stockport, you never know. He surprised me a few times this season as Everett with his lineup. But I imagine it'll just be a huge confidence booster. And with that, we can hopefully start riding the momentum after, I think it was 5 games without a win and only one draw in all of that.
You don't want to put your best team out because we'll probably try and sign them. So,
oh dear,
take half them home with us at 5 o'clock on Sunday.
I mean, we don't need the money as much anymore, but I won't turn it down.
So let us. I mean, that's a good segue, Nick. Well done. Cheers for that. Let's move on to the Sarcevic thing. Because I listened to your last podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I think Sarcevic had just signed for us, and it was audibly sort of visible, if that's even a phrase, that you were shocked at that.
Well, of course it's shocking when you're a club captain signs for a team 2 tiers lower than you, especially when he was still playing quite regularly for us. So yeah, it was I'm not surprised it caused a huge massive confusion amongst the Bolton fans. There was all sorts of theories flying about as to how this could have happened, especially because he played in our most recent game at the time against Plymouth. So, yeah, it was just one of those things that just caught everyone by shock. Ever in the BEN, Bolton Evening News, I believe he said that it was a decision made for the benefit of the long-term benefit of the club, I should say. Because watching Sarcevic this season, I don't think he could play beyond League One, and obviously our ambition and his ambition lies beyond that. So, yeah, but there's also been rumours that there was after the recent poor performances against Wigan and Plymouth that there was some bust-ups amongst him or amongst some of the other players, and especially if Sarcevic was the cause of it, it's really not a good look for your club captain. But again, that's an unconfirmed, substantiated rumour, so I don't know what it is, but either way, he's gone now, and I expect him to either have a right stinker against us or just completely blow us apart when he comes to play us on Sunday. It's never one or the other, is it? It's never just a neutral performance.
No, it's not. No, and I mean, I'm not sure if he'll. I mean, is there no agreement in there that he can't play or something? I don't know. I know he's not cup side, is he? But
no, he's not cup side, and I'm pretty sure Mark Isles, who BEN reporter, said he can play. So
yeah, he's been training as normal this week, and just crack on him. As far as County concerned, I think, he'd definitely be in the starting lineup, wouldn't he? Undoubtedly. So yeah, all good there.
So we heard the rumor about a bust up. And are you aware of what's going on at Stockport County at the moment? I mean, you're probably not, but I don't know if you've heard sort of rumours and things.
I've not heard too much on rumours, but I assume it's probably the reason why Rusk was sacked. Or am I wrong in there? But I've not heard too much.
Yeah, no, that's probably not the right thing. I mean, Rusk was sacked because of a build-up of bad performances, I would say, and bad results.
Okay.
Yeah, and when I say what's happening at County at the moment, I mean we've been taken over by a very wealthy backer.
Yeah.
So that allows us to bring and target players like Sarcevic, who I mean, Nick and Sam, you hopefully you'll agree with this. We were pretty surprised as well, when we signed a League One captain. That's in our history. In fact, I don't think we've ever signed anyone 2 divisions above that's been the captain of the club at the time.
No chance. No.
I don't think we've ever done that.
I don't think we've ever done that.
No, exactly. So we were very surprised, although we know what we've got behind us. So, and we've just had a new manager installed, who's Dave Challinor. Yeah. So it really is the feel good factor, and we'd already sold 4,000 before Challinor got appointed.
Yeah.
In fact, no, it's 5,000 before Challinor got appointed.
Already.
Oh yeah, no, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're already even though we've had poor running results, we're still selling out 5,000 away at Bolton. So we are really optimistic, and sort of the feel good factor is at County at the moment.
Yeah.
So. I mean, from our point of view, I would expect for you to expect a tough game. Is what do Bolton fans think? Are you expecting a tough game, or is it literally we're 2 divisions below?
I think it would have been a lot more doom and gloom if we hadn't got a result against Rochdale. I think Bolton fans are feeling slightly more alleviated from the pressure after not exactly blowing away Rochdale, because we kind of just went through the motion second half, but our first half performance was nearly as good as some of the good performances that we've seen this season. So I think things have improved mood-wise around that. But like you say, there's a new feel-good factor around Stockport. Dave Challinor's history with Tranmere and Bury probably means that he really wants to get one over on Bolton, especially for his debut managerial game for Stockport. So we'll see how that goes. I'd have been a lot more convinced that Stockport County could cause a upset if we hadn't done anything against Rochdale. But like I say, after Rochdale performance, I'm feeling a lot better that we can come out with something, especially because realistically, the 3rd tier teams should be beating the 5th tier teams.
Yeah, in a happy day scenario. Happy day scenario for you.
Yeah.
Finally, what score do you think it'll be on Sunday?
Ooh. You're gonna score at least one. It's just going to happen. So
I hope we do.
But I still think we'll win. I'll go for a 3-1.
Okay.
I'll take that, as long as we go 1-0 up and get to have that moment. As long as we go either 1-0 up or 1-0.
Considering how Bolton have played this season, we've been prone to scoring the first goal in a lot of games this season, so I would not be surprised.
Oh, I know where my money's going.
Takes me back to Watford away when we lost 4-1, but we scored first, and we thought we were going to Wembley, didn't we? Right, brilliant, James. Thank you very much for coming along and giving us your Bolton insight. That's really useful. And I'm not going to say good luck for Sunday, but I hope you enjoy the game, is what I'm going to say.
Let's hope football's the winner.
Yeah, let's hope football's the winner.
Thank you. I hope I enjoy the game too.
Okay. All right. Cheers, James. Cheers. Thank you.
No worries, lads. Cheers.
There we go. Yeah. It's always good. Yeah, it's always good to get the insight from the opposition, I think.
And we didn't mention Phoenix Knights once.
No.
I've grown up today.
Hey,
so Sam, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. Boys, obviously been a bit of a busy week, but just cracking on, and been a bit of a busy one aside from Challinor in terms of the press kind of week that they have before the FA Cup games. The last time we had that was, well, unsurprisingly, was the last time we played in the FA Cup, which was the West Ham game. In terms of, like, obviously we had the Stamford game, but in terms of a game that was, beyond the qualifying rounds. So there's been a bit of a chat with Ben Whitfield this week at Carrington. They were all buzzing for the game. I imagine there'll be some kind of press call with Dave Challinor ahead of the Bolton game. So, yeah, just keeping busy. obviously been a good week for the club, so can't complain.
So Ben Whitfield, I know you said you were chatting to him. When does that go out? When does the interview go out?
I'll probably send it off. I'm going to send it off the Evening News tonight after this, and I'll probably whack it online tomorrow. I think there'll be some kind of call with Dave Challinor on Friday. It's not actually like a new manager call. It's for the FA Cup game. It just so happens that he's coming at that time. I was expecting it at one point to be Dave Conlon. So yeah, we'll have that on Friday. Obviously, there's the fans forum / meet and greet tomorrow night as well. So I'll probably try and get it out before that. And it's just a bit of a preview piece for the FA Cup. Really, it's interesting. Like we were chatting to James there, and like I've done a piece for Bolton's programme this Sunday, and tried to get across that for most of our fans, it's not, we've seen us play Bolton, so it's not like oh my God, we've got a huge club away. But just chatting to like the likes of Ben Whitfield, he said a lot of the players when they were growing up, Bolton were in the Premier League in Europe, and finishing in top 6, top 7, going to Bayern Munich away and getting results. And so he said it is kind of like that for the players, and probably the same. I don't know what you boys think, but I thought it was kind of the same for the West Ham game. Obviously, it is a big one, but a lot of the fans are thinking, I know the fans couldn't go, but we have played West Ham quite a lot down the years and we beat them, going back to the 90s. But for the players, it's at the time, a top Premier League team with the full strength team. So it's kind of, you've got to differentiate between the lads that are out there playing and the fans. And, I know we've all got that excitement for it, but I think there is an element of, it is only Bolton, which is true. But for the players, they're going to be going out and buzzing. Go into this ground that was a Premier League ground, and like I say, they've played in Europe and playing with some big players there. So, yeah, be an interesting one.
I bet you can still smell Big Sam's musk as well, can't you, at the Reebok? If you venture deep down into the bowels of the stadium, I bet you can smell him. Dirty old bastard.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. Yeah.
No, it's an interesting point because you could say the same for the younger fans as well, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
I saw one of these vlogs, and they did a bit of a thing about us. I think it's when we signed Sarcevic actually, and the young lad doing this vlog, he said Stockport County player, and he could see him looking at the word, and he went Eagely Park like that, and that just said to me, well, that's not his fault. It's just that we've been out of the league and off the radar for so long. We've not been on FIFA. All these things that to us three, it is just Bolton because of where they are. But
what an idiot.
To me, I remember the Bolton of Kevin Davies and John McGinley and stuff like that. They're a massive club, aren't they?
They're the original hipster club.
Yeah.
Well, when they were playing at Burndon Park, you mean?
No, but the Reebok late 90s under Big Sam. What, JJ Okocha?
Yeah.
Stelios, yeah.
No, absolutely, yeah. A huge club, and like I say, it is that's not to say that there shouldn't be that excitement, and obviously there is, because we've gone and sold 5,000 tickets. But I do think there is an element, understandably, of like, we've got to kind of temper it of it's only Bolton, which is, like I say, is true. But the players will be going out there buzzing, and that kind of thing is like, you kind of think we could actually go nick a result because the players will be really, really fired up for it, or should be anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's all pointing to a really special occasion for me. 5,000 fans, new manager, the way the club is now, the fact that they have to have this silly registration that they've got to go through. I know a lot of fans are complaining about that, and if you look online, they haven't sold many. It could be 5,000 each, in the ground, which makes it a neutral venue almost, doesn't it?
That's leveler, isn't it?
Yeah, and you've got to think as well, the 5,000 county fans will be together, and they'll be making the noise, whereas the home fans, they'll be spread out. They're not going to be up for a game against Stockport in the National League at home in the first round of the FA Cup on a Sunday. So it probably is going to be, even if it is around 5,000 each, you'd imagine that the county 5,000 will be making a lot more noise. Yeah.
Was there anything that James said about Sarcevic that sort of caught your ear? In anything that you said about the rumours? I mean, do you know anything else about that? I mean, anything more than what's been said, or?
Yeah, so what I do know, and what is kind of, I mean, it came out a little bit I think it was the Daily Mail, which is a bit of a weird one for a National League transfer. I suppose it's got that bit of interest in terms of being a League One captain, but I think they put something out in the build-up to it being announced of like, oh, he's set to leave the club and he's had a fallout with Ian Evatt. But what I do know is County didn't instigate the transfer. They didn't approach Bolton. It was kind of landed on County's lap of he is available. It wasn't, obviously it's someone that has been on County's radar in the past. I think he left Plymouth to move back to the north when Mark Stock first took over. And it was kind of one that was linked on message boards and stuff like that. But I think at the time it was a bit, don't be daft. He's going to go to a Salford or a Bolton. So he was on the radar previously, but then it had just moved on from that. And then I think to compound that, we got John Rooney. So having two similar players or players that play in the same position, it wasn't one that County were aware of or considering, or they weren't set to approach Bolton. It just kind of became a thing. So that to me would suggest there was a fallout of some sort at Bolton. I know he was dropped for the Plymouth game, which I can imagine him being the Plymouth, getting promotion with Plymouth the season before would have been well up for that game. And to find out he's on the bench, that could be, I don't know anything about a fallout, but for it to make the national papers and for that to tie in with the fact that County didn't instigate the transfer, it probably feeds into that story a little bit.
What does that say about Sarcevic himself, though? I mean, if he's had a fallout, he's dropped to the bench, and then his agent's looking for a move. Is that is that the type of player we want? I mean, all ability aside.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point, but it's difficult in it because we don't know that is the case, and we don't know, if there is a fallout, we don't know what the actual situation is. For all we know, Ian Evatt could have gone in and stuck one on him. Well, I'm not saying he did that, by the way. But,
you heard it here first.
but it's not there being a fallout. If there was one, doesn't kind of put that at Sarcevic's door. And if he is then set to leave the club, and it's something that Bolton have driven themselves, he can't go to a Football League club until January. So, it's a free transfer as well. So even that would add into that would kind of fuel the fire that it's probably some kind of fallout if Bolton are saying, look, here's our captain and he's literally a free transfer. We just want to get him off the books. So it's hard to say, and we don't want to I don't want to go out there and say that Sarcevic is, he's instigated any fallout or anything like that. But it would seem to be the case that there's been some kind of dispute for him to be dropped from the team and be on the bench, and then to leave the next week on a free transfer to a non-league club.
Yeah. Okay. We've had a comment in. I'll just flash this comment up. Has anyone ever seen you and Ethan Ross in the same room? I don't know if you've had that before.
No. But if you actually did stand me next to him, you'd be like, yeah, there is nothing alike here. Like he did a post-match interview. I think the post-match interview he did it might have been Wrexham for his debut or the week after. And he literally came over to the touchline for the interview and bear hugged John Kieran, and it was literally like a man picking up his child. So I know I'm a bit taller than John, but I'm definitely no Ethan Ross. But yeah, I've not had that one to be fair, so I can move on.
I just imagine one of the a little sticker from Over the County Culture now with Byrne on it and your face. That'd be quality.
Yeah, no, he's a good lad, but I'll try and drop that into him, but I don't think he'll be having that. I think it compliments me a lot more than him, so we'll put it that way.
It's always weird though, isn't it? When someone tells you look like someone, and then you go up to the person and say, "Oh, such and such has said I look like you." It just looks like begging, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Please, my friend.
Yeah, and not a knock on any of the lads, but I can't really go to a non-league footballer and be like, I look like you. It's not like going up to Cristiano Ronaldo, is it? And kind of saying that you're a lookalike. So I'll take it. I'll still take it.
If someone tells me I look like someone, I go over and say to them, I look like you. But it's normally like some homeless fella in the park. So they've forgotten within 5 minutes. It's all right.
Jim Gannon used to say that I had a likeness to Chris Smalley. Remember Chris Smalley?
Yeah.
I would literally be like, so I would literally kind of plan, like I would see him in training during the week when I'd go to training and do some interviews. And if he had like a beard, I'd clean shave for this. Or if he was like clean shaven, I'd like grow my beard out a little bit. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, Jim. I don't know anything like him. But no, that was, to be fair, that one was probably a bit more accurate.
We are getting comments through. You probably can't see them, Sam. So what we'll do is we will pop them up as good ones come in. One that's come in that I just want to say now. I want to say cheers, thank you for this one that's come through for me and Dowd, and we've had another one saying here. Just thanking you basically for all the match updates that you provide. You know, when you do go to the games. I've got to say, I mean, yours come through quicker than County, so I sort of rely on you more than do the County Twitter feed. I'll be completely honest. Cheers for that from everybody.
Yeah, I'll take that. But in terms of that, the Twitter updates and like them coming through, it's a difficult one to be fair because the lad that does Twitter, Liam, like they've got literally with the football club account, they've got like a sponsor that they've got a shoehorn in there. They've got to get like they've got to in terms of doing like a goal tweet, they've got to get so much information on there for like like flash scores and stuff like that, and like Sky Sports, BBC Sport, they take it from a specific tweet. So there's loads of stuff that County have got to do, and I can just sit there and just whack out like goal or whatever. Yeah. And obviously, I don't have to think as much about what I'm saying. With the club account, to be fair, I was going to mention this because obviously that had come up in terms of I think it was the Barnet game, wasn't it? The Simon Russ last game, where County were down to 10, and then Barnet went down to 10 like 60 seconds later. And obviously the tweet that went out was like, was it 10-man County defeated?
Yeah.
And to be fair, I get the frustration from the fans, but I just felt so bad for Liam because I'm like, I get it, but I'm kind of like reading comments and stuff, like digging into the club and like indirectly him, like, oh, he should be saying this or he should be asking this. And I'm like, if anything, that should be at me. Like the club account is, you won't see Man United go on Twitter and go, oh, 5-0 defeat, Ollie out, or what, so I'm like, if anything, that should be at me. But it's a difficult one to balance because we've obviously been pretty shit for the first few weeks of the season, the first few months of the season. So it's kind of like polishing a turd at times, whereas I don't have to do that as much. So yeah, it is a bit of a difficult one, but no, I'll take any thanks that come my way.
Just on that tweet though, someone replied, and I think it was your brother. The first reply was, the 10 men part of that is doing some heavy lifting. So, he has messaged in. So which one of you does talk the most sense?
Probably my mum.
I like it.
Jack and my dad are like. It's funny you mentioned like the Barnet game. Like, my dad knows Liam, to be fair, and like I'm good mates with Liam. But like he put that tweet out, and obviously it was kind of a rough night in general, and a rough kind of few days afterwards. It's more so for Liam and people like that. And he kind of like turned to me and he was like, "Oh, so I've got a tweet here saying it's like North Korea." When he put the tweet out about going down to 10 men. And I was like, oh, that is my dad. So literally the amount of times that my brother or my dad are like coming out with stuff and I'm like, yeah, that's my family. It's a bit awkward, but what can you do? When they're all County fans and they're all going to, and everyone's got their own opinions, there's going to be stuff that gets said that maybe I don't agree with, or whatever, they don't agree with me, but we're all County fans, aren't we? So
yeah,
I wasn't that bothered. I found that tweet more funny than anything else, the 10 men thing. I found it funny and then moved on because there was bigger County things to worry about that week.
Yeah, I think to be honest, after that game, I think they could have gone out and said anything and it would have just been like, not irrelevant, because obviously it doesn't matter what gets said, but we could all see that the writing was pretty much on the wall, even into the kind of final 15-20 minutes of the game. It was like, if we get an equaliser, in the grand scheme of things, it's really not going to do much for Simon Rusk. So, I get it, but I think at that point, people were just waiting for the inevitable to come through.
That last 20 minutes of commentary with you and John needs to go in like the County Museum. Because that was just such a thing of beauty. That 20 minutes was. It's like a piece of weird art.
You know, like I felt with John like towards that last 20 minutes because John is obviously again like Liam, obviously not to the same extent as Liam, but he's got to kind of to an extent there is kind of that polishing a turd of when it's bad. He can't just go out and say how bad it is in so many words. I know he will actually get his opinion across, and I've done co-commentary with him loads, and he does actually say what he thinks, but I think generally he is always quite positive about the club and about whoever the manager is at the time. And he'll be the same with Dave Challinor. I think he knows Dave Challinor from back when Challinor was a player. But that last 20 minutes, I could feel myself like, not that I was wanting to be negative, but it just was, I was saying what I was seeing, and I just felt like I was like poisoning him, and he was just like joining me. Like he was just slowly like turning over to that side of like just kind of letting rip. But yeah, it was like I say that final 20 minutes, and even the whole game. To be honest, like I know we got level, but it was literally a moment of magic from two Football League quality players. And other than that, we just had nothing in the game. And it was just, as the game went on, it was just like, we're not getting anywhere. Not just tonight, but we're just not moving forwards. We're not getting anywhere as things stand. So it kind of, like I say, it was just inevitable, really.
So when from your point of view, did you start to turn your light off, shall we say? Start to think this is not...
Yeah. So, to be honest, I think like everyone did, I had doubts at times last season about how the style that we played. I actually thought the empty stadium benefited how we play more, because I think we played Dover, and so this was even under Jim, and it's kind of the same point. Obviously, we didn't play the same football as we did under Jim, but Andy Hessenthaler, the Dover manager, we got in at half time 0-0. And then we scored 3 goals in the second half at Edgley Park. And he came out and he said, he said, I just wish there was fans in, because if we'd have got Stockport in at half-time 0-0 at home, the home fans would have just been right on the back. And that's not to dig out county fans, because any home fans, to be coming up against a team at the bottom of the league, if you go in 0-0 at half-time and you're kind of struggling for a bit of form, he said, I think the fans would have got on the back, and in the second half, we could have come out and like taken advantage of that. He said, but the fact the stadium was empty, County could just keep doing what they were doing, and eventually they knew the goal would come. And I think when Sam and Russ took over, that became like the norm, because there was times I was watching us last season, I was thinking, I know everyone's watching the stream, but you can't vocalise that in the stadium. And I was thinking, there's times we're playing and we're not up to much at all in a first half of the game. But we just know, I think we played Wealdstone at home, and it was 0-0 after like 55, 60 minutes. And then Crowsdale scored, and then we went and scored like 4. But if we'd got to 0-0 at that point, playing that style of football, it probably would have. I think it might have got to that point sooner, in terms of County struggling and Rusk obviously going the way that he's gone. So I started to have doubts, but then you can't not. To his credit, the 18-game unbeaten run. I know there's that element of. We're playing teams that have got nothing to play for and that kind of thing. And to be fair, that more often than not, that did pan out. We went to Kings Lynn and beat them 4-0 twice in like a week or something. There was the odd game that they would put up a bit of fight, but generally we were smashing teams that had nothing to play for. But it's an 18-game unbeaten run and a third place finish. Rightly or wrongly, he will argue and has argued that he improved on where we were when Jim left. In terms of the league finish, we finished third. I think we were fourth, but with games in hand. People might correct me on that. So he will argue that in terms of finishing the season, he got us. He finished higher than we were when he came in. But I just had doubts at certain points of that season. And then the Hartlepool game, I just think just everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I think he got it wrong with, obviously Madden was kind of shoehorned into the team at the last minute in terms of him being unfit. Just Challinor really did a job on us that day. And but then to look at the summer, it was kind of like, at the time, I think there was probably a bit of confidence of like, we're signing the likes of Will Fish and Arjan Reiki, and Ben Barkley played 32 games for Atkinson in League One last season. But looking back now, it's like, well, the recruitment was very kind of all over the place, really. And it just, I would say for me, very long-winded answer to that original question, but I think Boreham Wood 0-0 away, kind of early doors in the season, there was signs of us going back to how we were last season in terms of just not being ruthless and not creating the chances. And then the Halifax game for me, just from there, I'm kind of, to be brutally honest, I'm surprised that it kind of went on after the Halifax game. And I know we beat Wrexham and then went on that 4-game winning run, but it was kind of, I don't know what you boys think again, but kind of unconvincing.
Limping.
Wins. Yeah.
And
just
limping.
And like Wrexham, they should be up there. I know they're struggling as well, but we kind of like won it on momentum, really. Like we literally, even the winning goal, like we literally forced it over the line. And you've got, like I say, you've got to credit them when we win and credit Sam and Rusk when we win, but it was just, and like Weymouth coming back and kind of winning in the last minute. Stamford, I thought, I know they can play without fear, but I thought there was times that they caused us problems and could have had a goal or two, and then the Aldershot one as well, the 1-0 win. Lucky to get the win, and they could have easily got at least a point from that. So I think for me, like Halifax was where I was personally surprised that it kind of carried on from there. Like I say,
yeah. Was Yeovil before Halifax, or was it after?
Yeah. So it was, I think it was Yeovil, and then we went to Maidenhead on a Tuesday night and won 2-0. We had 9 men.
Yeah, and then we played Halifax, didn't we?
Yeah, and the Maidenhead one was like, it's such a difficult one to call because, thankfully I wasn't on the radio, but because we did kind of start to play well, got the 2 goals, and then they had the men sent off. So it is like, well, to be fair, we're playing a team who've performed poorly and they've got 9 men. But you have to kind of say we deserved it, and we did kind of show signs of looking like a good team. So it was kind of like, right, well, all right, water under the bridge now with the Yeovil game, all that kind of poor start to the season. Maybe we can start moving in the right direction. And then the Halifax game was the Saturday after, and it just like probably, I think the commentary that I did for that one was probably worse than like I say worse. It was probably more brutal than the Barnet game, because the Barnet one, I just kind of felt like it's inevitable, like I say. Whereas the Halifax one, we were still had a chance of taking control of our own season and getting a win with loads of county fans and like kickstarting the season, and it just didn't obviously pan out at all. So I think that one was probably for me when I started to just wonder where we were going and what style of play we had and what our kind of approach was, and from there it just never really recovered.
Yeah. I must admit I was thinking start of a new season, clean slate. All right, bit scattergun with the recruitment, like we've discussed in the past. But I was really, I'm tend to be the positive one. I'm the positive one. Nick's the
Nick's the one who wants Mark Stock to fail, apparently.
So I was quite positive. The Boreham Wood one I thought was a good result, and then we played Yeovil, and that was just like a torpedo into the bow, into the hull. Then when we played Halifax, I was just like, this is Yeovil. I started having major doubts. It's always been sideways passing, waiting for opportunities, that kind of thing. Which yeah, that's okay as long as it wins your matches.
If it's done right, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It just, we said it on the pod. I've started to get a bit frustrated, and that Notts County match was just again, awful. Sat there and it's just, but we still took 1,800. That's what I love about County. That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
You know what else I love about County? I'll tell you what else I love about County. It's the fact that we've got 40 minutes into this podcast. We're 2/3 of the way into the allotted running time. We've not even mentioned the fact we've got a new fucking manager, though.
Well, we're 2/3. I'm sure we've got longer than an hour, haven't we, Sam?
Well,
Sure.
I'm easy.
Yeah, fine by me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. Let me just quickly get a beer, and I'll run a little interlude, and then we'll talk about the new manager.
Oh, I thought he wasn't going to get back in time.
Not quick enough. Oh well. So obviously Rusk departs. That was writing on the wall. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. How did you see it from sort of a journalist point of view? I mean, we heard Challinor, obviously. We heard other names, Appleton, Flynn, and then all of the stupid ones that were online. You know, like Ferguson, not Alec,
the ghost of Brian Clough.
Yeah. How did that sort of play out for you?
In terms of the names that were linked and stuff, it's funny because like I put something out saying like trying to like just obviously people discuss different contenders and there'll always be names coming and going that are linked, but just trying to say like lads, these names and that they're not a thing. And it was like Duncan Ferguson, Paul Ince. There was probably others to be fair. I didn't mention Steve Bruce because I just thought that wasn't worth mentioning. But yeah, like the Duncan Ferguson thing. Literally on the Tuesday night in the Barnet game, I heard someone like near the press box say, "Oh, there's Darren Ferguson," and then the next morning, someone texted me and went, "Oh, was Duncan Ferguson at the game?" So I said, "No idea. Like, no, I don't think so." And he went, "Oh, I heard that he was there because he's mates with Robert Elston, obviously the Everton mate." And then someone put it on the message board, and then he was like 4-1. I'm like, literally, this is start. I heard exactly how this started. I heard someone saying the words, "Is that Darren Ferguson?" And then 24 hours later, Duncan Ferguson was 4-1 to become the new manager. And
it was amazing how many people were taking the betting as the odds as gospel, though. I know for a fact someone put a fiver on Jim Gannon, and he went from 25-1 to 12, like straight away. So that's just how little money's in that market. No one's touching it.
Small market, yeah. Like I say, but I could see all of like Wednesday. I could see people like on Twitter like debating the merits of appointing Duncan Ferguson, and I'm like, it's not going to happen. Like, it's not a thing. It's complete. Like, I know we can always. I mean, we literally had Didi Hamann as manager. Like, anything can happen, but it's not a thing. Like, it's not even on the radar. And but it's just like pissing in the wind, isn't it? Like when people get something in the mind.
When people were trying to, like you said, discussing the merits of Ferguson, it all pretty much just came to, he battered a couple of burglars, so he's going to sort John Rooney out. That was basically what it came down to in the end. So he won't take any messing.
How like discriminatory as well that's the Scouser in the team that they've gone to. Oh, he battered a burglar, so you know John Rooney will be dealt with.
Yeah.
But no, there's obviously aside from the Ferguson thing, I kind of was led to believe very early on after Rusk left that there was, I think I mentioned the names like Challinor, Appleton, McInnes, and there's one other. Oh, the new manager, Dave Challinor. But yeah, there was like 4 or 5 names that I kind of seriously heard. As being targets, like not someone they'd gone and approached, but just people that the club thought they could either get or would be interested, or both. And I saw some Lincoln fans kind of picking up on the Appleton link and just kind of like rubbishing it, the same as the Hartlepool fans did with Challinor. And I get it, because if we were in Lincoln's position in that division, and you know, filed or someone came and kind of tried to get our manager, we'd all be like laughing it off. But you know, it was a genuine interest. Like, it didn't go anywhere, but he was one of the names that was under serious consideration. And that I've kind of come to learn, like, under these owners, if they're considering something, it's not just like they don't just throw it out there and then move on. Like, it was under serious consideration. And that's not to say we would have got him, or he would have been interested, but he was someone that they seriously talked about. And then throughout the course of that week before Hartlepool game at Leyton Orient on the Saturday, it kind of became apparent that Challinor was the number one choice. Although, from how I understand it, you know, nothing was acted on until he approached Hartlepool on the Sunday, and it all kind of like escalated from there, really, as we've seen on social media. So yeah, it was kind of. There was a few days where there was like 4 or 5 serious names in the hat, and then it became like, this is the number one target. And I just never kind of felt like we weren't going to get him as soon as they were interested. And I mean, we've all seen how it panned out, but yeah, it was kind of like after the whole kind of thing with Rusk, it was nice to be watching the club do more of a thorough approach and like identify a number of targets and then choose one and focus on that. And I think some people took that to mean that they were only ever looking at one person and never kind of looking elsewhere. Whereas they did have targets and they did have a list of like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, literally, like, I don't know, Tottenham's is like playing whack-a-mole or something, isn't it? Just literally like swinging a bat around. But yeah, I think people did take it to mean that it was just one person and we were only ever looking at them and never going to look anywhere else. And we were going to end up selling ourselves short and scrambling around to get someone. But there was like a serious list on a serious, name, a serious number of targets. But Challinor was their number one choice and ultimately they went and got him. So can't really knock him, to be fair. After the thing with Rusk of being, he was clearly the kind of ready-made man in their mind, and there wasn't any other targets or any other names in consideration. It was Simon Rusk is the guy, and they went and got him straight away. And now, like to compare to that now, they did go and consider a number of people, like a number of quality, like National League and Football League managers.
How do you feel about Simon Wilson? Because you just said then Rusk was a ready-made manager in their eyes. I'm guessing that's Simon Wilson because he's the one with the numbers, with the know-how, perhaps with the facts. I guess.
Yeah.
Probably some heavy lifting in that statement as well.
We know you don't like Simon Wilson, Russ. There's no need to go about it every week.
I'm ambivalent. I'm ambivalent. As long as my football club does well, I'm ambivalent. How do you see that director of football role? Because you're clearly closer to that sort of thing than we are.
Yeah, I mean, I we're not the only football club in the country to have a director of football.
Yeah,
clearly, but I just think it probably could do with being more defined, and I think we'll probably see that happen now. There's probably been, I think there's been a bit of talk, and I've seen a little bit of talk that he was a bit more reserved in his interview with John in announcing Challinor. I mean, I don't know him too well. I don't really know. I don't have much of a relationship with him, but to me, he seemed a bit more maybe cautious in his interview, a bit more just, like I say, reserved. So there's probably, I believe, there has been, in terms of the recruitment of Challinor, there's been a bit more. It was a bit more collective, and like I say, it was a bit more of a thorough process. I think Wilson had identified Simon Rusk as the manager after Jim had left, and it was all done pretty quickly. And I've got no problem with the director of football role. Obviously there's been kind of misgivings about, obviously about Simon Rusk, and then to couple that the recruitment in the summer, like we've kind of, the one thing we could rely on was the best defence in the league last season, or the joint best. And looking back now at the summer, we just went and kind of threw a load of defenders at that, who now aren't involved, not even getting a look in the entire squad. We've got one out on loan at another club, and all it's done is served to make the defence worse in terms of the goals we're conceding. So I think that's definitely something that Challinor will get a grip of, and I believe that Challinor will be kind of like the man. Obviously, he will have that relationship with Simon Wilson. I believe that it's a case of Challinor now identifying targets when we do sign players. I'm probably not expecting us to sign anyone in the near future, but I believe Challinor will identify targets and work with Wilson, and that to me is fine. Like that's what I understand the director of football role to be.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if Challinor identifies a certain person and Wilson goes and gets them, then win-win. But I think the concerns have come around. Obviously, the appointment of Rusk, which I'm going to take it until we know otherwise. I'm going to take it as the club learning from that, in the fact that they've gone out and not done the same thing again. And to couple that with the fact that there was more involvement from other directors and Mark Stott himself, probably shows that they have taken a little bit of that not off Sam Wilson's plate, but they're kind of making it more of a collective thing. So
yeah.
I think it can work, and I think Challinor is probably a good foil for Simon Wilson, but it needs to be very defined, which I'm hoping to see more of.
Yeah, I mean, they've always said, haven't they, that they are learning, which is fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's absolutely fine. I did raise my eyebrow at Simon Wilson saying, I think he actually said under Jim we had a leaky defence.
Yeah.
To wholeheartedly disagree with that.
There's no need to lie.
Yeah,
yeah.
Exactly.
So,
and I think that's where they don't help themselves, and probably Simon Wilson doesn't help himself. And like, to be fair, I don't really have a gripe with him doing an interview for the Dave Challinor appointment. I think if he didn't do one, it's not a director of football that has kind of very limited involvement. It's clearly very hands-on. And any club at any level that has a hands-on director of football, they will be involved in the unveiling of the manager. It may be that other clubs will do a press conference and Wilson would be sat up at the top table, and that wouldn't look that out of place. But it's just because we've done it. It's because County have done it on YouTube. It looks more. It's more kind of like specific to Simon Wilson. But I've not got a problem with that. And I think I don't think. I mean, the thing about the leaky defence was obviously not the case, and to me, we've never had a leaky defence on the Jim at any stage. I think obviously the season that he left when we were struggling in the National League 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were down the bottom of the table, but I don't think we were. It's a difficult one. That's a kind of a different era. But as of these past 5 years, I don't think we ever struggled on the Jim defensively. I think clearly stuff like that doesn't help. But
I wonder if he's referring to the silly goals we conceded. Perhaps the couple of own goals. One went under Ben Inchley's foot.
Well, that was under Rusk.
Was it? No, but
that was
Rusk's first home game, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. So stand corrected.
Ben Inchley never did that on the Jim Gannon.
Oh yeah.
Where's Gary? Is Gary Stockport around?
Probably.
It was more spectacular on the Jim, wasn't it? It was the halfway line, straight over his from further out. But I think maybe. I mean, I don't want to start making excuses for it because it's not accurate to say that we had a leaky defence. But there's maybe. I mean, we got beat 4-0 at Hartlepool, but we literally had 9 men for a large part of the game. And there was the odd game that we weren't getting Hastings, but with the 1-0 at Notts County, it's such a poor. I think that was live on BT. On a Tuesday night, it's such a poor goal to concede. I mean, we only got beat 1-0, but such a poor goal under Jim. Yeah. But we weren't, there weren't a load of 4-0, 5-0, 3-0s by any stretch.
The one that sticks out for me, I think, is what I was about to say after I said about the own goal was Alty at home. I think we conceded 2 stupid goals, and maybe I don't know. Maybe that's what Wilson's thinking, but. I still raised me when he said that. I just thought, no, that's just no.
Yeah.
Can I be honest with you, I didn't watch it. I was on such a high after the Challinor appointment. I was like, I'm not going to bother watching it. I've learned everything I need to know from the manager.
Yeah, well,
the manager that we've now got.
I must admit, I watched the Challinor one first, and maybe I shouldn't have done because I got to the Wilson one, got 2 to 3 minutes into it, and thought, I'll watch that later. I'm going to have to watch it, but I'll watch it later. So let's talk about the Challinor interview then. And the furore that's been caused up in the northeast.
No one seems all that bothered, do they? Jesus, they weren't this bothered when they were killing innocent animals, were they?
They don't like being called the monkey hangers. Apparently, well, not apparently. I've been to Hartlepool. Obviously, I went to that 4-0 last Christmas, and this has nothing to do with Challinor, but they really disliked us referring to them as the monkey hangers.
You shouldn't have had it on a t-shirt.
Whilst having like big paintings on the dressing room wall of like a monkey being hanged. Like, I'll take your lead, boys, but you're kind of not giving me any choice. But yeah.
Oh, I love it. And isn't their mascot a monkey as well?
A monkey, yeah. Angus the monkey.
Angus the monkey. Yeah, okay.
It's good that they're trying to move away from it, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't lean into it, boys. Yeah.
So the Challinor's interview then. I just listened to that. I can't think of like specific things he said now. Maybe you guys can, but I just came away with that thinking, come on, I was ready for Sparta, like ready for going into battle, mate. Ready for.
You know what, as well, Russ? Like, because you were for once, we actually agreed.
Yeah. Well,
but we didn't have a reason. We didn't have a reason for not wanting Challinor. It was just the fact that he doesn't seem to like us. That was literally our only reason. As soon as I saw that interview, I was like, yeah, fucking yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you probably didn't see, Sam, but I tweeted that I didn't really want Dave Challinor, and I'll hold my hands up. That was what I said before he was appointed, and purely based on, I said that when he played for us, I didn't think he was that great. It was always the old guard, him and Palmer going up for corners and stuff. And we were on our way down, which he admitted in the interview, didn't he? He said we were declining as a club. And I also said that the shithousery that he did to us when he was beating us recently with Fylde and Hartlepool, I didn't really like that. But now I think about it, and now he's joined, I just think, well, I've said before on the podcast, I love it when players are shithouses, for us. That's exactly what you want, isn't it? So I'm glad he's in our dugout now.
Exactly, yeah. It's like the Danny Lloyd thing, isn't it? Of how many times did he shush like away fans that weren't battering in to begin with. And for us, it's brilliant. And to be fair, like, I did actually kind of consider like some comparisons with Jim. Like, I've been to games down the years, like in doing this role, where I remember being at Boston when we equalised. We came back from 2-0, and Jimmy Ball equalised like the 97th minute to make it 2-2.
Oh,
where's the assessor?
Where's the assessor?
Where's the assessor? Yeah, screaming it at like Dan Powell, who's filming the game, who's like deserted his camera to like cheer the goal. But yeah, that like Jim was right down in front of us at Boston, and they'd been like dropping like flies like when they were 2-0 up and 2-1 up. And Jim literally, I think there's a video of it somewhere. Like, I'll try and dig it out and put it on Twitter tonight or tomorrow. But Jim literally turned around to the Boston fans in our stand and dropped to the floor and was like holding his knee and like rolling around on the dugout floor. And they're all like flicking the V's and everything, like you would as a home fan. But I'm like, oh my God, that's brilliant. Like, he's literally, we've been getting dead frustrated with them time wasting, them dropping to the floor, and he's just turned around and just giving it back in spades. But if we were Boston, we'd be like, oh, that manager, what a shit house.
Yeah.
But it's just you. But it's just when it's you, it's like, I always remember, like, not that this is the same situation, but I remember when I was growing up, like, you'd always hear about someone like Robbie Savage. Oh, I'd rather have him. He's an absolute shit house, but I'd rather have him for us than against us. That kind of thing. And to be fair, I actually, thinking about it again, I don't think Dave Challinor really got up too much. In terms of Fylde, obviously the Fylde chairman was one of the more polarising ones. I think Dave Challinor, as annoying as it was at the time, just turned up, beat us and left.
Well, when the chairman was giving it out, Dave Challinor should have said, well, I might manage these one day. Can you tone it down a bit?
It's funny, the Fylde thing to think, like, when Fylde were regularly getting one over on us under Challinor, just thinking, I thought about this last night, like, they're now a league below us. We're kind of like so much clearer of them as a club, and we've gone and got the manager that was like doing it for them at the time. And I just think, like, you wouldn't have thought at the time that we'd be in this position of, not that it's anything to go and cheer too much about, but it's just funny how quickly things can change in football.
If everyone was losing Lewis Montrose to Fylde, that type of thing. It's just our best player at the time, our most important player anyway. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he took Scott Duxbury as well, didn't he?
Duxbury as well, yeah. Which went well for everyone concerned, and I'm sure no one regrets that move at all. Yeah. At least not Scott.
To be fair, we went and got Jordan Williams, and Jordan struggled, didn't he? So I think probably we've done a reverse Scott Duxbury on them. I think he'll be a great appointment, and I mentioned it last night in that piece that I put out. His stats kind of speak for himself, really. And his interview, like, in terms of the specifics, just like, I think at one point he said something like, we've got such a, I think he said an embarrassment of riches, so I just need to pick them in the best positions. And I was like, why am I like buzzing to hear that when it's just like
something
the most
basic
obvious thing? But he just, that kind of no nonsense approach and like common sense approach as well, and not trying to like throw out the rule book, I think definitely is what we need to go back to.
Do you think there's an element of him that's, I'm not going to say old style, but Rusk appeared to me to be very sort of modern, and he sort of valued the high profile players. We said it before, playing square pegs in round holes, probably just because he knew that they had to play. I think Challinor will probably. I'm hoping he won't take any prisoners. If John Rooney isn't performing, he'll get hooked. Do you agree with that? Or
yeah, absolutely. I think he's had that kind of experience of, not to the same extent, but obviously he had money to spend at Fylde, and obviously they've not had the likes of John Rooney and Liam Hogan, but they've had big name players and like high profile players for the National League. And he literally got them up from the Northern Prem, got them into the National League North, won the National League North, got to the playoff final in the National League, won the FA Trophy. And I mean, that team, not that these are the kind of players that you'd expect to be like in need of being slapped down a peg or two, but the likes of like Ryan Croasdale, Alex Reid, like he had them in the team at Fylde. So I think he has got experience of managing players on, whether it be more money or, like I say, higher profile names. And I just don't think it'll phase him. I've not spoke to him yet. Like I say, it'll probably be Friday that we get to do a press call, but he doesn't strike me as someone that'll take any like nonsense from anyone, really.
No, and he's played in an FA Cup final. He's played in Tier 2, has he? I think.
Yeah.
Well, it was an FA Cup final with Tranmere, wasn't it?
League Cup
final, yeah.
League Cup final, sorry, yeah.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't remember who it was, but I saw someone put out on Twitter last night. I think I was trying to look for it before because it was a pretty good point, but I think they've now changed the Twitter name to Cheers, thank you.
Thank you.
Who hasn't?
I can't differentiate between who it is and who it isn't. But he basically said, like, the reasons they've seen for not wanting Challinor, a lot of them are like, oh, he wasn't a great player, or for us, or like you say, that kind of like bad-tempered, Fylde kind of rivalry. But at the end of the day, we wouldn't have had any problem with Challinor if we were consistently beating Fylde.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
He would literally, and not just Fylde. He came and did a number with us, with Hartlepool on us.
Yeah.
And if we were constantly beating the team he was managing at the time, it'd probably just be like, he used to play for us, but we've not really got an axe to grind. We've not really got any feelings on him either way. It was only the fact that he was beating us that has kind of like led to that obviously bad feeling. But he mentioned it, he said, like, I'm looking forward to being reunited with the fans. I think he just wants to, like, if there is any of that lingering, not animosity, but like bit of friction or something, I think he probably just want to quash it straight away and get, 5,000 at Bolton. Yeah.
I don't
think
think
Sunday's going to be. I'm so excited for Sunday. I wasn't really too. I mean, I got my ticket when Rusk was manager, and I thought, well, it'll be a good day out. It's my first away since Wrexham as well, like when we first came up.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
It'd be a brilliant day, and it'd be good to kind of see like the 5,000 and be looking at it. Obviously, it's always, you do like look at those away days and just think like you just want to be in there. But yeah, it'd be good to like look at it. And like I say, like speaking to some of the players this week, like to them, like I say, to mention the fact that Bolton were in the Premier League. But aside from that, to be running out there and it's like you've got either the majority of the attendance or a big part of it. And I think the players have seen already, like the Notts counties and the Halifax and even like the Dover and the Boreham Wood games where we still took a healthy attendance. I think they're probably starting. There's a few that probably already get it, but I think the more and more it goes on, I think it probably will click with them, and I think Challinor will probably harness that a lot more.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of videos from him at Hartlepool where he was like really getting the players to go over to the fans and not just go over, but like literally going up to like the front row and like doing the whole fist bumps and handshakes and stuff and selfies with the kids. And to be fair, that was something we did a lot on the gym. And the players regularly do that. I think he'll be able to harness that a lot more.
Yeah, and Belly said that a couple of weeks ago, didn't he, Nick? That Mark started seeing it. That the players were going. Actually, they were going over to about the 18-yard box and not going any further. And Mark Stott said, "Why don't you go over to them and actually shake their hands and stuff?" So that's something I think we'll see. And that'll be good. I mean, the interview itself, I came away really enthused, but I'm easily enthused, to be honest, when it comes to county. I don't know. I just thought he straight away he gets it, and I was like dead excited after I'd watched the video.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think I put something online about the interview, and like I think John like just kind of nailed it with what he asked and the information that he got out of him, and Dave Challinor just like I said, I think he's obviously, from being at Hartlepool, he knows the value of like getting the fans on side and building that connection, and obviously something that we had in spades on the Jim, and it's obviously been lacking since Jim left, and I think he knows the value of that and knows that it can probably actually win you a few points over the course of a season as well, and like I say, the videos of like that, I've seen some Hartlepool videos of him like really getting involved with the fans after the game and going over, and the whole beating your chest type stuff that you see from the likes of Jurgen Klopp and stuff like that. So I think he obviously, aside from all this, he is actually a good football manager. But I think he knows how to really kind of use that to his advantage.
What do you think we can see in terms of backroom staff? Do you reckon he'll bring some with him?
So I was told, kind of unofficially, that it's just going to be the appointment, even before it was known that it was going to be Challinor. It was going to be a manager and an assistant, and that would be it. Yeah. But I think even now the assistant would be down the line rather than in the like short term. But I was kind of told that it won't be a big overhaul, or like we saw with Rusk, of the sheer number of names coming in. I believe it will just be, whenever that time is, it will just be an assistant. I know we had Clint Hill at Hartlepool, who I believe he's good mates with. I've not heard anything in terms of a name, but presuming we're able to go and get someone from Hartlepool after how this past week has gone, I wouldn't be surprised if it was someone like a Clint Hill or someone of that stature who he knows from like an old job. I know people mentioned Colin Woodthorpe, but I don't know what, after obviously he had his situation, I don't know what his kind of feelings are towards coming back into the game. It obviously would be a huge, like, in terms of harnessing that connection that I was talking about, like to have Colin Woodthorpe there as well. I just don't know what his current situation is, and obviously it's a bit kind of harsh to speculate too much about him when I don't know how that's going. So a Clint Hill type figure, I would imagine, down the line. I'm not saying it's Clint Hill, by the way, because I can imagine some Hartlepool fans fuming at that. So someone of that stature who he knows. But like I say, I'm under the impression that it will only be a manager and his assistant.
There was a coach there today with NP on his.
Has anyone
worked? Done some detective work?
It's Neil Parsley. So
good news for Will Fish.
Someone mentioned that earlier, actually.
Fuck off.
Sorry, mate. He's strength and conditioning, because obviously Nick Donnelly left. Yeah. I think it was either back end of last season or the summer. And he was obviously someone who worked on the gym, kind of was part of that National League North title win. Left. I think he's based around like the northeast, so I don't know if he's moving back that way, or I saw Hyde had tweeted that he was working there with Jim a little bit, so clearly not. But he moved on, and then they got. I think when they announced Mark Beard as the assistant, or one of the assistants, they kind of did list at the bottom of the same article that Neil Parsley was doing strength and conditioning. I think they mentioned he was at England under 21s before here. And obviously there's Shwan Jalal, who's a goalkeeping coach. And I think the other one in the picture that I've seen was Joppa Mullenstein, which is Rennie Mullenstein's son, or one of his sons, and he's the head analyst. And to be fair, I did kind of like, I actually like read a lot of stuff and do side with like the county fans a lot on stuff, but I did see stuff about the sheer number of names we were bringing in. And I tried to kind of say over the summer, I get it, but these appointments were replacements for people we already had. Like Sean O'Callaghan was the chief analyst, and he got offered a job at Burton in the summer. So they just literally replaced him with Joppa. And then, like I say, Nick Donnelly left, so we got Neil Parsley. So I get it, and I think that's probably the maximum that we'd ever need now. They'll probably go to point someone tomorrow now that I've said this. But I think what's interesting to me, I don't know what you two think, like seeing the games, but it's interesting, like Schwan, who's like dead east sound, and he does a lot of good work that you can see with like Ethan Ross and Ben Hinchliffe, but he's like really vocal on the touchline, but like not to the goalkeepers, like coaching. And it's interesting that like a lot of, and I'm not saying Neil Parsley or Yoppa do that because they don't, but to see like other coaches getting involved in like the overall element, and to be fair, that might be something that Dave Challinor doesn't have that approach. It's more single-minded. Maybe it was. I did kind of feel like it was a bit of a safety blanket for Simon Rusk. Like obviously he had Mark McGee, but the sheer number of people that would just be throwing information out there, it was almost like they were kind of just like shielding him and helping him as much as they could. Whereas obviously Dave Challinor will just feel that he can just crack on.
I saw that at the Barnet match. I thought it was Shawan Jalal shouting, but then I thought, well, why would he be doing that? Having been a goalkeeping coach for the Stockport County ladies, and obviously got Ronnie Green stood there, my immediate feeling is I'm not going to shout instructions to the players because that's undermining him.
Yeah,
it's absolutely. I won't even shout instructions to the goalkeeper. That's for him to do. He can talk to me, and we'll have that conversation, and then he shouts instructions to the goalkeeper. So that smacks to me of the manager has lost the respect, probably, of either his coaching staff or the players, that he's allowing the coach to do that, and he's allowing his players to take direction from a goalkeeping coach. I mean,
I just thought it was always odd, and like, to be fair, there might be other clubs that have a similar approach, but and Schwan, Schwan's played hundreds of games in the Football League, in non-league, like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But like, what information is someone like not just Schwan, but any coach on the touchline that's not the manager or the assistant? It kind of becomes a bit. If I'm out there and I'm playing up front for Stockport County and I'm getting 3 or 4 people. Like, I think John mentioned on commentary for it might be Notts County or one of the games I've done recently, and he was saying, I think it might have been Quigley was ready to come on, and John said like, he's just waiting while he goes through like 8 laminates.
Yeah,
and there was literally just someone like going through like loads of sheets with him, and it's like a bit of an information overload. And I think Challinor will just kind of strip that back to its basics, and he's confident in himself, and he knows that Dave Conlon, like you can hear him. And you just know, like, he only says something when it's like necessary. Yeah. I'm not, to be fair, this isn't anything about anyone like Schwan or anyone like that, but just in general, like, it's a bit of an information overload. And like you say, Russ, I think it was literally a case of like protecting Simon Rusk, and like I almost felt like you see like some like nature documentary, you see a load of penguins like puddling around like the smallest one. Just kind of like shielding him from like what's going on around him, and just letting him. Yeah, and kind of them trying to help him as much as we can.
Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't really good.
I took it as Shawan Jalal. Well, at first, question marks were in my head, but then I thought, well, he's probably doing it because he can see what's going wrong. He can see what needs to be done. He's probably thinking, why is Rusk or McGee not shouting these instructions? Why is it left to the goalkeeping coach to do that? So I totally understand why he's done it. But like you say, hopefully Challinor will have that hierarchy, if you like. I hope so, anyway, because I think it needs it on the touchline.
Yeah, and like I say, when not to heart to Jim, but when Jim was here, it was literally Jim would do his kind of instructions, and the only voice you'd hear would be Dave Conlon's otherwise. Dave Conlon's would be more of like not specific instructions, but more about the mentality of the players and more like the mental side. And to me, I'd expect going forward that Dave Challinor takes charge of that, and I fully expect him to do so, and then have the likes of Dave Conlon, or just Dave Conlon, or down the line when he does bring in an assistant, if he brings an assistant in, just the kind of 1 and 2 men doing that. And I think it's just confidence in his own ability, really, which obviously he's got in spades. So yeah, I reckon we'll probably go back to basics in that.
I don't think I've been this excited about managerial appointment since Jim Gannon now. Last time. I think the last hour,
only been one since then, Nick.
No, I mean full stop. Like, of all of them, like when Mexon Mexon came in to replace Jones, it's like, the guy from Blackpool. We always beat Blackpool as shit. So yeah.
I mean, you can never guarantee anything, can you? But literally, 11 full seasons as a manager, and he's finished in the playoffs as a minimum in 10 of them.
Yeah,
like with but like with money in some seasons and with no money in other seasons, like Colwyn Bay weren't loaded, and they struggled before Challinor and they struggled after and got relegated without him. It was only that kind of spell that he was there that he went and took them up like instantly, and then dropped that. He actually did the same thing where he went back down and went to Fylde, who were a league lower at the time, and just blasted through the leagues. I know they had more money there, but then to go to Hartlepool and not have that money again, he's obviously shown that he's got a lot of layers to what he can do, which is what we need, because after signing Rusk, it was kind of very one-dimensional, which we can move away from that as far as possible, really.
Was Challinor in charge of Colwyn Bay when they beat us at Edgley Park?
I think he'd gone to Fylde by then, but it was pretty much his team, I think. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But then they got relegated. I think Frank Sinclair went there for a brief
That's
period.
it, Sinclair.
Yeah.
He was the panto villain for a while, wasn't he?
He was. Like we're saying, he was, because it's funny because we're saying like Challinor, we wouldn't have there wouldn't have been that animosity if we were beating them. Well, it's funny because we beat Colwyn Bay and the county fans still just slaughtered Frank Sinclair. Yeah. So, but yeah, he's. I thought it was pretty funny that well, not funny, but there was actually comments when I was doing some digging on him that the Colwyn Bay fans that I'd encountered online were kind of like, oh, he ditched us to drop back down the leagues to Fylde. But I mean, if you look at how that turned out, I know it's obviously a much greater scale, Stockport and Hartlepool to Colwyn Bay and Fylde, but he went down to Fylde. Fylde moved up and up, and Colwyn Bay went down, and his career went up and up. So I've seen some comments about Hartlepool fans saying he's not backing himself by staying. I think he's probably backing himself by coming to us, because he can come here and to be. I think we're taking for granted that we'll get back in the Football League one day, but it's not, as we've seen this season, like it's not a given. So if he can come and do it, either with us or his job prospects after that will be massive. So that he wouldn't need to probably drop down to the National League again. Not that he needed to, but he wouldn't feel the need to drop down to the National League again. He would then be looking up at, we're saying like Michael Flynn from Newport, he was looking at Cardiff and shops like that. If Challinor can come here and be the man to take Stockport County back into the Football League, he'll be looking at those jobs, the Cardiffs and teams like that. And we're looking at his CV and going, what is it, 4 clubs and 6 promotions, 7 promotions, depending on how long he stays there. So, yeah, I think there's definite, obviously people talk about the money, clearly, but I think there is definite logic to why he's done it when you actually look further into it and you look at his past career.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, I think... No, go on, you go first. I forgot what I was going to say.
I was going to say, well, I'll go then. No, I was going to say, as with Jim and Simon Rusk, now that, the resources that we've got, any manager that comes in is going to be looking to get us into the Football League. And we've spoken about the double bounce quite a lot. We've got lots more resources than Hartlepool, just tenfold. There's no reason why we can't do that double bounce if he gets us up. So there's no reason why he wouldn't stay, just to bolster his profile a bit more. I mean, getting into the Football League, into League Two is great, and other clubs in the Championship start sniffing. But would you not want to stay and do that double bounce into League One as well?
Let's just get this one first.
No, I'm going full throttle.
Yeah. I think this is like this is the hardest one. Like League Two, you can see like from how Hartlepool have done this season. I mean, they've not lost at home under Challinor this season so far, and they were 7th, 8th before they got beat on Saturday at Leyton Orient. Yeah. And he's done that. They lost Armstrong in the summer, who scored in the playoff final. He lost Rhys Oates to Mansfield. So like the 2 main strikers. I think he had to bring in Mike Fondop, who'd scored, I think he scored 1 in 33 at his previous club, and on a free transfer. So that's probably a factor as well, in that he's looking at the resources. And I always kind of think of it, if I was looking at if you kind of considering yourself as in their shoes, I always think, you think about Football Manager, and if you were playing on Football Manager and you could see a job came up and it was a National League club and you went on their squad and it was Sarcevic, Madden, Quigley, Rooney, all these players, you'd probably jump at it, because it's actually probably going to be, if he can get us going in the right direction, he's probably going to enjoy it as well. So there is a lot of a lot going for it in terms of why he's made the decision. Obviously, aside from the money, which I know people will talk about, but you can see why he's done it. It's not a completely insane decision, or it doesn't seem like it at the moment, anyway.
Yeah, you've just alluded to it there. Like, if you look at what like sensible Hartlepool fans are saying, i.e., not on Facebook or Twitter, the consensus seems to be that the club's being run like it's still a non-league club.
Yeah,
I'm assuming he had assurances when he got his new contract, and they've not been. I'd imagine they've not been fulfilled.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, like, similar to the Sarcevic thing, you don't have to know too much. I don't know too much about what happened at Hartlepool, but you don't have to. You can just look at the face of it and say he took them up. He lost his two main strikers, who were both brilliant last season, and had to replace them with Mike Fondop. That was kind of, and I know I think it was his wife mentioned something which has now been taken down, but it was kind of, there is more to it than meets the eye. And there's been a lot of talk I think it was the Hartlepool Mail mentioned his contract talks went on like an extraordinarily long time.
Yeah.
And I think it's like I say, you don't need to know that much about the situation to see that something wasn't right.
Yeah.
And it's, not that this is a knock on Challinor, but if the negotiations did take a long time, he may well have been looking at Wrexham or Tranmere or someone like us that probably going, oh, they're under pressure. Not that he would have been targeting us, but he might well have been playing the field a little bit and looking elsewhere. He's obviously then committed his future, but like you say, Russell, I don't know if there was assurances made. It seems like it, because it seems like there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. That's what obviously people close to him are saying. So aside from the money and aside from the attraction of this job, I think there's probably something feeding into what's going on at Hartlepool that's led to him to be looking elsewhere in the first place.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay. Yeah. Are you going to be in goal on Sunday or what, Sam?
No one wants me in goal. No one wants me in goal.
See, this makes it sound like everyone's at it, but it's the same.
No, it's the same person. It's just the same person, Joe Inglesfield.
Yeah.
Regular viewer, Joe. Cheers for dropping in again. Right, I think it's about time we wrapped it up because we're getting on for an hour and 25. So, final word then. Predictions for Sunday. What do you reckon?
So like I said, I've done something for Bolton's matchday program on Sunday, and I did that this morning and said 2-1 to Bolton. And I think, like Nick mentioned earlier, I think we'll get that goal that kind of gives, we're not 2-0 down and we get a goal. We get a goal to either go one up or equalise. But the more I think about it, I just think Challinor will know he can get them playing. It's effectively a free hit really for County, and I think I think he'll get them. There'll be that bit of buzz around a new manager. The 5,000 fans. I just wonder if I feel like the West Ham game. I know that was at home, but I feel like if the fans were in, we would have taken it at least for extra time. The way the game unfolded, and I think we now might see that in a different kind of way this Sunday, in the fans being there. And if this was an empty stadium on Sunday, I'd probably be thinking 2-3-0. But to have the fans in and to have that new manager bounce, I just wonder if we can nick a 1-0 or, I don't know the situation with replays this season, but even to take, if it is a case that the replays are going ahead to bring them back to Edgley Park.
Yeah, it's replays,
yeah. So long-winded, but I did go 2-1 to Bolton with County getting a goal that will mean something at the time of the game. But I wouldn't be surprised if County can nick a result.
I'd go along with that, yeah. I think a draw or a narrow defeat by 1 goal.
Oh, okay.
We're not going to show ourselves up though. We're not.
No, so you're being negative as per usual, which is fine. I'm going with PJRC, who says 3-1 to County. I'm going to say 3-1. I'm going to say 2-1 County. I think we'll do him. I think the 5,000 fans will carry us through.
We've had a message there. Thoughts on Simon Wilson interview. We've done that.
Hats TV.
Let's go back Sid, about half an hour. It's been done.
Yeah, Sid, we've already done that one, so we just go back. Yeah, and then Ian Dowden, regular listener.
I'll take that.
Sarcevic winning and kissing the badge. Oh,
yeah.
Could you imagine?
I would love, and we were talking about it before the shithousery thing and loving it when it's on your team. For no reason at all, I want him to score and do the Adebayor against Arsenal.
Just
for no reason. No, he's not got any major gripe with Bolton or their fans, but just score at the county end, have the opportunity to celebrate in front of 5,000 and go, no, I'm gonna go up this side and do a little knee slide.
I'd be quite happy if we just celebrate every goal like that.
Yeah.
Just on that though, what I did notice that on Saturday against Dover, John Rooney tried a long range effort. Sarcevic had a thunder bastard that hit the bar. I don't remember much under Rusk that ever happening.
No, I think,
and I wonder that's part of the gameplay. And if they can open up that's how you get the best out of players like John Rooney.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. They just felt quite shackled, and of course, the players have got to take their own share of the blame for how we started the season. But it just felt quite restricted, and just one game under Dave Conlon. I know it's Dover, but we've played a lot of poor teams and not done that. So to go and get the 5 goals and to keep even at not to knock him, because I just think it doesn't achieve anything at this point, but I think if that was a Simon Rusk managed game, I think we would have got into the 3-2 lead or the 1-0 lead or the 2-1 lead and just kind of sat on that. But to keep them going for the goals shows that they are capable of that, and that mindset can actually produce some results as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that type of football that Rusk was playing was, again, under 23 football. You go 1-0 up, you sit on it, you control the game management. At our level with the players we've got, just go and smash them.
Yeah.
Just go. You concede 1, concede 2. Don't matter. You've scored 4.
Yeah. Yeah. The firepower we've got in the squad, bottom line, should be enough to overcome most teams in the division on the day.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line, really. And I think Dave Challinor mentioned it in his interview, and it's not a token mention. I think he's said, I'm told that we want attacking football, and I want attacking football, and he's not just going to throw that out there. I think that is how he wants to set up, and that's how he has set up in the past. So if he can get this squad firing, there's no reason why we can't be seeing the 4 and 5s flying in. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let's do some admin. Sam. Yeah, cheers, mate. Let's do some admin before we go. Again, keep on repeating it every week. You can get all our content on the Fan Hub app. Download that. There's over 520 fans now in the Fan Hub app. And I keep on saying it, rewards are coming. Do not worry, they are coming. We've got a link up with the Terrace. So some sort of Stockport County merch coming. The discounts on stuff like that. So do that. And also Hatters TV, who we just flashed up before, Sid, he's got a vlog going for County and he's in the app now. So there's even more content. So you've got our podcast, our YouTube live show, our blog, which we put out another one last week, and you've got Hatters TV. So the blog we put out last week was to celebrate Black History Month, and it was about Arthur Wharton. So Adam Sundell did a great article about that. And we've got another one this week coming from Ant Sherat as well. So look out for that.
Ant Sherat is going to the same event as me tomorrow night, so I might meet him in the flesh. Or he might meet me in the flesh. You never know.
Yeah. So let's mention that. So tomorrow, which the most important thing is, it's my wife's birthday tomorrow. So let's just get that in. But there's
Happy
also...
birthday, Russ's wife. Happy birthday to the wife of Russ Johnson. The Scaffogar Wars, Russ Johnson from the Scaffogar War.
Thank you. So I'll be going out for food and celebrating my wife's birthday, whilst 2 things are happening tomorrow. 2 important things, not as important as my wife's birthday, is a meet and greet with Dave Challinor, which you mentioned earlier, Sam. So I think that's really well played. You come in on the Tuesday, on the Thursday, you're having a meet and greet with fans.
Yeah. I'm going to meet these mutants.
Yeah. But I think I mentioned it earlier, just quickly, if there is any, I don't think there will be, but that kind of hangover from the file days, if there is any which I doubt, it's just it can just be quashed straight off the bat. And I think it's probably already quashed, because any lingering doubts people might have had watching that interview would have probably sealed the deal for him. But I think to go and do a fans forum straight off the bat just kill any doubts or any misgivings people have, and just crack on with Bolton.
If anyone does have a problem with Fylde still, then we should suggest that he just fuck off and watch Barnsley. Sam Walker plays for him. It's all right. We're not going to be playing the fuckers again, are we?
No, but I think what County fans are really enthused by and amused by is the amount of shit that it's caused Hartlepool. I mean, they had a flag of him, didn't they? And they were burning it last night.
Grown man.
Yeah. I think like in football, like burning flags is like the 10 out of 10 for like anger. Like you can't get any.
It's right up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
But even Lewis Figo didn't do that. Lewis Figo didn't get a flag burnt. You know what I mean? If Lewis Figo's not getting it, then why is Challinor getting it?
Yeah.
If we ever play Hartlepool, they're going to throw a pig's head into the corner, aren't they?
Oh, we're having him second round of the FA Cup. It's happening.
Yeah. A monkey's head. A monkey's
Yeah. Oh, good stuff.
It's an ideal opportunity to mention Monkey Face again for you there, isn't it, Russ?
Oh yeah, Monkey Face.
Yeah, that was a blast from the past, wasn't it? Don't Google that, listeners.
Yeah, no, do Google it. If as long as you're over 18.
Don't.
Yeah.
Don't.
And the other thing, Sid again. He's dying to get involved with Sid. Jeff Stelling named his cat after him. Apparently, yeah. What's gonna? You're the cat man.
Well,
not the scat man. You're the cat man.
I was actually. This was on my notes to mention. I didn't get round to it, so I was going to save it for the deleted scenes. But I named my cat Monty after Lewis Montrose.
Oh.
And then Lewis Montrose went to Fylde, and I didn't let it bother me. And then the cat did get knocked down and die, and it was a release. I'll be quite honest with you, because we never really replaced him.
So basically, Jeff Stelling needs to leave his cat in the middle of the road and just call it quits.
It's a cool looking cat as well. I'll take it in. I'll take it in, and I can keep calling it Challinor. Sorted. Everyone's a winner. Everyone's a winner, apart from my other cat Phoebe, who's very highly strung.
Oh, the world of cats. The world of cats by Nick Lee.
I bet you're a dog person, aren't you, Russ?
No, I don't have any.
I just don't like anything.
I just had dog. I'm a kid person. I've got children. That's what I've got. I can see how that came out now. Yeah.
Oh, what a night! What a day for all of us.
Yeah. Back to the admin.
Geordie Hatter's away day show.
Geordie Hatter's away day show. Yes.
I would imagine he's at it this weekend, but we need to double check with him.
No, he is. He's at it this weekend. So Geordie Hatter's away day show. You can see it on the bottom. The URL's on the bottom. Mixler.com/the Geordie Hatter.
Music, county chat, clips from this show as of this week.
Yes.
Our little link up. Yeah, I'm going to furnish with some clips. Not of this yet, but
no. And there's clips of interviews with managers. I'm sure Dave Challinor will get a run out as well. I think it's Saturday at 9:30. It might be Sunday at 9:30, with it being the away day show.
But either way, go on the URL specified there
and follow.
Click on it, subscribe, and then you'll get a notification when it's on. Although you'll also get a notification when he's doing a test with his guest on the Friday night, like there was with me the other week. That was fun.
Right.
Me talking about my cat to a test audience of 3 people.
People actually listened.
Yeah, well, they listened to me talking about my cat on air, haven't they? So,
well, that's true. Yeah,
people listen to any old shite.
What have you got? You got any cats, Sam? You got any dogs? Or what are you?
No. We had a family cat when I was growing up, but that also came to a sticky end. So I'm
What, you jizzed on it? What?
Oh,
you've got to get one lowbrow. You've got to get one lowbrow joking.
I'm thinking no.
An hour and 38 minutes.
There you go.
It's not even the watershed yet either. That was before 9 o'clock. Be fucking ashamed of yourself.
I think that's all for the admin. County Academy are winning 2-0 still. It's probably just about to end actually. Can't see the time, but yeah, I think that's it. The new website, I wasn't going to mention this, but I thought I will. It's not gone live. We are working on that, and it will go live at some point.
But the other website's still there, the website.
Yeah. You can still go to scarpbergara.co.uk and get links to everything. We're doing just YouTube now, so it's not live on Facebook or Twitter because we want to bring everything to YouTube. I had a good chat with Pete Atfield last night of Stockport County Ladies, so he chatted to me about some stuff, and we're going to get hopefully someone from Stockport County Ladies to come on as and when we to talk about the ladies setup, and we're going to get hopefully someone from the academy as well. Steve Bellis has agreed to come back on when we need him. Sam, will you come back on at some point?
Of course, yeah.
Brilliant.
It was 100%, but now it's 99% after the little cat. Yes, of course, and hopefully next time it's this little promising week that we've had is in full flow. But yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah, and we will get you in the county arms as well, so we'll sit around and have a beer and just chat shit about county, which is what we do on this podcast.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Good stuff, right? I think that's it. Nick, anything from you?
Yeah, you best get running, mate. Own Bargains closes in 25 minutes, and you've not got your missus a birthday present, so off you fuck.
Already covered, mate. Already covered. I'm a planner.
Vouchers again, is it? Scratch cards.
I'm a planner. Fail to plan is to plan to fail.
That's upsetting.
Right, Sam, cheers very much. It's been an absolute
cheers,
pleasure.
Boys. Yeah, it's been a good night, boys. But yeah, cheers. I feel like we all went with the same thing, but I feel like we've got to end, or I'm going to end with a little cheers, thank you. So I'll end with that. And,
I was going to do that. Cheers,
I was going to do that.
Let's all do it.
We all do it after 3.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Cheers, thank you. Cheers, thank you. This is the Scarf Bergara War, a Stockport County fan-created podcast, blog, YouTube live show and website. Find us at thescarfbergarawar.co.uk. For county fans, by county fans.